Hey guys, so I have some recent reads to talk about, and actually I'm going to be doing another video after this because I have 2 videos I need to do worth of recent reads videos, but I'm going to keep this to 5 books because I do like keeping them on the shorter side. And I think I've decided that in January I'm going to go back to doing wrap-ups. You know, it's fun to try out this method, but I don't know, I feel like I'm just so used to doing the monthly wrap-ups that I kind of want to get back to them, but let me know what do you think about that. But anyway, let me get into my recent reads. I actually want to start with like my favorite to least favorite. I know I've been doing it the opposite lately, but I thought it would be fun, and I also just really want to talk about this book right away. So that book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I gave this book 5 stars, and you will hear me talking about this again in my like favorite books of the year video that I'm going to be doing probably in January sometime. So I really liked this book. I've read a few other V.E. Schwab books, so I kind of knew she writes really good, unique worlds and characters and like plots, and really makes you conflicted. It was just so different from anything I'd read before, and it just made me feel so many different conflicting things that I really wasn't expecting, that it just shocked me in a good way. And for that, it just made me really enjoy it. I do have to say this book did make me pretty sad though. I don't know if when you read this you felt like a deep sense of melancholy, but I definitely got that when I was reading this book. I'll keep this short and sweet since you probably have already heard of this, since it is very popular right now. But this is the story of Addie LaRue, who is a woman in the 1700s, 1600s, I forget, lives in a small village in France, and she wants so much more out of life than she's given in her small town. She doesn't want to get married to someone and live in this town and die in this town and never see the world. So she makes a deal with a god, and not a good god, one of the gods she's not supposed to pray to, and he grants her immortality. She can live forever, but no one's ever going to know her name. As soon as she leaves the room, they leave the room, whichever, they turn away from her, they've already forgotten her. So every day is like such a struggle, and it was so unique and interesting to read about. It really was something, like I said, unlike anything I'd read before, and it was just, I thought it was so well done. And it was definitely on the slower side for pacing, but I feel like the character of Addie and like the other characters in this book really just made it so good. So I'm gonna stop gushing about Addie right now, but I will be gushing about it later for sure. So the next 2 books are kind of like tied for this month in like my 4-star rating place. And the first one I'll talk about is The Last Flight by Julie Clark. This is a thriller. It wasn't even that thrilling. I don't really know how to describe it. It's like a fast-paced, mysterious kind of fiction story. It's very interesting. I'm so glad I read it. I just flew through this one because it just had that really kind of quick type of pacing. But it's basically about these 2 women who swap lives basically in an airport because they're both trying to get away from their lives. They both have a lot of different things going on in their lives, and they need to just completely escape from their lives. So they kind of swap places with each other, and through the book you're learning about each of these women and the lives they've led, and then the lives that they're leading under these new identities. Next, I want to talk about, which I'm not going to talk about too much because I do have a spoiler-free review for it, but This Time Next Year by Sophie Cousins. This is like a fate-filled story about these 2 people who were both born on the same day. They're a 1990 baby, but the one guy, he was the one who was born first, so he got the big prize money for being like the first 1990s baby. Really all throughout his life he's kind of carried a lot of good luck. He's very successful. And our other main character, Minnie, she feels like he basically took her luck, and she's had, you know, some hard times. She's always kind of been struggling, and you're following them as they actually meet on their birthdays. They have the same birthday, obviously, and they get to know each other and kind of become friends, and it was really good. This is a romance, but obviously the romance is a big part of the story. But that being said, there is a lot that Minnie, just in her personal life, is trying to discover and figure out, because she's the part owner of this company that is doing really horribly, but she just has some really good ideas and passions. It's just nothing seems to fall where it should, and so she's struggling in that way. She doesn't have the best relationship with her mother, and so we're exploring that, and her mother's past hurts as well, and like how those are mending, and it's really good. I loved these 2 characters together. They were so funny, and all of their little interactions, like their awkward things that would happen when they were together, was so really fun to read about. So The only thing is I wish we had more of that, because every time that they were together on page, I just loved reading about them. They had such good chemistry. But I really did enjoy this one. I gave this 4 stars, and it's good for a holiday read. It's kind of good to read post-holiday because that's when it starts, but it does cover like a full year. So you can read it anytime really, but I feel like it has a good holiday atmosphere, at least in the beginning. And the last 2 books in this video are kind of tied for like bottom place, but they still weren't bad reads. I gave them both 3.5 stars, and that was Season of Wonder, which is a Christmas book by Rayanne Thane. So I think I actually have this in a reading vlog, so I won't really go too crazy on it here. It's just a very Hallmark cute story about this woman, single mother, who's moving to a small town because some things have happened in her past, and she's a veterinarian. Her next door neighbor is a policeman in town, and they kind of have like a very antagonistic way with each other at the start. She's just very closed off to men in general because of her past, and she's opening up. Her kids are really sweet to read about. It's taking place during Christmas, so there's a lot of Christmas themes and Christmas events and things that they're going to, and I really just thought this one was a really cute book. If you are looking for another cute little holiday read, holiday romance before Christmas, then go ahead and pick this one up. Really quick to read and just cute and enjoyable. And the last book I have to talk about is a book I listened to on audio, and that's The Distance Between Us by Casey West. So I've read a few Casey West books. They're just really cute young adult contemporary romances that are just really good for passing the time, and I wanted an audiobook like that because I just wanted something easy to listen to, kind of enjoyable, and it relatively kept my attention. It's about these 2 kids in their senior year of high school. One is this really wealthy guy from this wealthy family, and then the other is from a struggling single mother family who owns a doll shop, and they're kind of just trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives. They have these weekends, and she'll set up like a career day basically, and then she'll try to find something that she thinks he'd be interested in, and they would do that activity together, and then he would do it for her, etc. So they form like a really nice friendship and goes from there, but she's very much against like the wealthy guy stereotype. It's a really good like commuting, easy to listen to audiobook, so I'm glad that I listened to it, and I'll for sure be listening / reading more Casey West books in the future. But I feel like they just make decent audiobooks because when I'm listening to audiobooks frequently, my mind wanders, and you don't really have to worry about that happening in this one as much because it's not like a crazy intricate plot. Like you can easily catch up if your mind goes off for like a few seconds. So I like those kind of audiobooks for sure, and this one just worked really well in that format. So that wraps up this recent reads video. But yeah, definitely let me know if you like the recent reads, you like the monthly wrap-ups more, because like I said, I'm leaning more toward doing monthly wrap-ups again in January. So that is all I have for today's video. Thank you for watching, and happy reading.